God's presence changes everything. If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. Exodus 33:15, you have tasted what it is like to be alone. Not merely the absence of people, but the deeper loneliness, the sense that no one truly sees you, truly knows you, truly stands with you. In those moments, even the most beautiful surroundings feel empty. A crowded room can feel like a desert if you are there by yourself. But the opposite is also true. The darkest prison cell, the bleakest hospital room, the loneliest midnight hour, all of them are transformed when someone is with you. Presence changes everything. If human presence can bring such comfort, how much more the presence of God? Moses understood this. He had led Israel out of Egypt. He had seen the Red Sea part, water gush from a rock, manna fall from heaven. He had stood on Mount Sinai and received the law from the very hand of God. But when God said, "Go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, I will send an angel before you," Moses was not satisfied. He knew that an angel, even a powerful one, was not enough. He knew that the promised land, with all its abundance, was only a hollow promise if God himself was not in it. So Moses prayed the boldest prayer. "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." Moses would rather stay in the wilderness with God than enter Canaan without him. That is the heart of one who has discovered that God's presence changes everything. What was God's response? "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Exodus 33:14. The same promise is yours. Not that you will never face wilderness, never face hardship, never face uncertainty, but you will never face them alone. The God of the universe, the creator of the ends of the earth, the one who numbers the stars and calls them by name, he promises to go with you. Not a replacement, not a representative, not an angel, himself, his presence. And his presence changes everything. Think of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. The flames were heated 7 times hotter. The soldiers who threw them in were killed by the heat. Death seemed certain. But when the king looked into the furnace, he saw not 3 men, but 4. The 4th looked like a son of the gods. God's presence did not prevent the fire, but it transformed the fire. The 3 walked out without even the smell of smoke on their clothes. The presence of God changed everything. Think of Peter in prison. He was chained between 2 soldiers, sleeping before his execution. The church prayed, and God sent an angel. Light shone in the cell. The chains fell off. The iron gate opened. Peter walked out free. The presence of God changed everything. Think of Paul and Silas in the Philippian jail. Their backs were bleeding. Their feet were in stocks. They were in the innermost cell, the most hopeless place. But at midnight they prayed and sang hymns to God. The presence of God filled that dark, stinking dungeon. The prison shook. The chains fell off. The jailer and his household were saved. The presence of God changed everything. What are you facing today that seems impossible? A diagnosis that has no cure? A relationship that seems beyond repair? A financial crisis that has no solution? A grief that will not lift? A fear that paralyzes? God's presence does not automatically remove the trial, but it transforms the trial. You are not walking through it alone. The same God who walked through the fire with the 3 young men walks through the fire with you. The same God who stood in the prison cell with Paul stands in your crisis. His presence changes not necessarily your circumstances, but your experience of your circumstances. He gives you peace in the storm, joy in the sorrow, hope in the hopelessness, strength in the weakness. His presence changes everything. How do you experience his presence? You ask for it. James writes, "You do not have because you do not ask God." James 4:2. Moses asked. You can ask, not as a formula, but as a desperate cry. "Lord, I cannot face this without you. Do not send me into this day without your presence. Do not let me walk into this meeting, this hospital room, this conversation, this night without you." Ask. He is not reluctant to give. He is more willing to give his presence than you are to receive it. You experience his presence through his word. Scripture is not just ancient history, it is the living voice of God. When you read the Bible with an open heart, the Spirit makes the words alive. They speak into your situation. They comfort, convict, guide, and strengthen. The same word that spoke light into darkness speaks light into your darkness. Open the book. His presence is in its pages. You experience His presence through prayer. Not formal, religious words, but honest conversation. Tell Him what you are feeling. Tell Him what you fear. Tell Him what you hope. Tell Him what you do not understand. He listens. He answers. Not always audibly, but always truly. Prayer is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. Leave space to listen. His presence meets you in the silence. You experience His presence through worship. Not just songs on a Sunday, but the posture of a heart that magnifies God above every problem. When you worship, you shift your focus from the size of your trial to the greatness of your God. And in that shift, His presence becomes real. The enemy flees, the chains loosen, the peace descends. Worship is not an escape from reality, it is an entrance into His presence. And His presence changes everything. Today, no matter what you are facing, you do not face it alone. The same presence that led Israel through the wilderness, that walked through the fire, that stood in the prison cell, that presence is with you. Not a symbol of His presence, not a reminder of His presence. His actual, real, powerful, comforting presence. He is with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. And because He is with you, everything changes. Not always the circumstances, but always you. You are not alone. You have never been alone. His presence goes with you. And that is enough. That is everything.